Today, I want to talk about what it takes to make it. A question that I get a lot of the time from people is, Nemr, I want to be a stand-up comic. Do you have any tips? Now, the thing is, to be a stand-up comic, I think you need to be anything in life. It's the same tips, right? You got to dive in, and it never hurts to have a nice mixture of ambition paired with naivety. If you really know what you're getting into, chances are you're going to start to maybe build some anxiety about getting into it. Sometimes naivety is a very, very powerful ally for you to follow your dreams. Now, if I'm going to talk about stand-up comedy, people say, Nemr, what's the most important thing that I should learn to be able to be a stand-up comic? I say business. That's what I always reply. Study business, right? You don't have to go to college for it. You can go online, take some courses. And in fact, Harvard right now is giving out free courses, over 60 courses for free online. So just Google Harvard free courses, from game design to business to scientific courses. You can take them for free for people who are quarantined. But I always say business because my show is an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours on stage. For that time on stage, that hour and a half, I spend thousands of hours off stage. And that time is consumed with the business side of things, whether it's making deals, talking to my agents. My agents are talking to the venues, booking the dates, managing my cash flow to make sure that I can survive long enough should something come along and destroy my career like COVID-19 and I can't do stage time anymore. The ability to market and brand myself, to put myself out there so people actually want to buy tickets. The ability to market that I have a show so people know that I have a show so that they can go buy tickets. All of that is business. For me to be able to survive long enough to get to stage, and then for me to be able to enjoy that time on stage, I need to have the business side on lockdown. Then I also have to develop my comedy side, but I spend 95% of my time on the business side. That's just the way things are. And really, what in life isn't like that now? Especially if you want to work as an entrepreneur, okay? Entrepreneurship, 2 words. The way you have to do it, if you're going to work to make it, you have a dream and you want to make it, you need to really have a good understanding of business, at least a fundamental understanding. The next thing you're going to have to do is go for it. I know that sounds easy, but you got to really believe in yourself because no one's going to believe in you. And anybody who tries to bring you down, use it as fuel. But always recognize the difference between somebody who's trying to bring you down and somebody who's trying to give you constructive criticism. And I'll show you an example. Dude, you suck is somebody trying to bring you down. And somebody giving you constructive criticism would be like, man, I see what you're trying to do. How about you try doing this thing next time? Just a suggestion. I love what you're doing. That's fantastic. Listening to people is very important. On the WhatsApp number right here, send your name and city. People give me suggestions all the time. And they tell me things they like, they don't like. And I take that into consideration. Every episode, I try to improve on it. I don't agree with everything. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I listen. So listening is very important. Ambition is very important. But at the same time, being realistic is very important. So understanding what it takes, researching what you want to be, right? So if you want to be a doctor, obviously, I'm not saying get a business degree, but what kind of doctor do you want to be? What's the path forward for you? Where are you going to study? What is your chartered path forward? Which hospitals do you want to go to? What do you want to do? You got to know that stuff. And if you go to any university today, you can actually go and talk to advisors there for free and they can help you out. Talk to your parents, let them tell you what's a good idea, what isn't from their experience, make up your own mind. But then once you get to the real world and you want to apply your dream, it becomes a whole different ballgame. There are no rules. Everybody makes it differently. I'll talk about my industry. As a stand-up comic, if you saw last time's episode on Thursday with Giannis Papas, we actually talked about this. Back in the 90s, the 80s, you would get a spot on a late night TV show. Your career was made up overnight if you crushed it, right? You'd get a comedy special on Showtime or HBO and you're a household name in America. That's no longer the case now. There's so much stuff going on online. There's so much stuff to choose from, so much diversification of material and content, so much oversaturation that it doesn't mean anything anymore. So if you want to be a stand-up comic, there isn't a simple ticket to it. You got to do a bunch of stuff and you got to get in creative. The ingenuity of people like our guest, Trevor Wallace, who built his following online by creating funny videos that clicked with a lot of people was step one in his process. He started to get a lot of followers, a lot of eyeballs looking at what he did. Then when he started announcing his shows on his platform, people would go to his shows and he filmed things from his shows, posted highlights, showed that people were having a hell of a time. People were having a great time. Now his following is compounding and doubling, right? So in his goal to be a stand-up comic, he realized that he needs people to come in and put their asses in the seats. Because it doesn't matter if I'm funny. I can guarantee you 90% of the people who book me, the venues who book me, do not watch my material to book me. My agent calls them up and says, I got Nemr. Yeah, sure. We've heard of Nemr. We've heard he sells out everywhere. We'd love to book him. How do these dates work? Because what they're concerned with is making a profit. They're a business. What I'm concerned with is being the best I can be at what I do. So you got to find the middle point between that. And Trevor Wallace recognized that. Using his online following and backing it up with being on stage and crushing it has made him a massive success. And all of us have to think that way now. Thanks for the follow, Malik Majzoub on Twitch. I appreciate it. What's crazy about that thing, Marcus Makel, no one uses WhatsApp. That's very funny. It's actually the most downloaded app in the world. So maybe you need to start using WhatsApp. What's interesting about the way things are right now and the way the world is, right now we're caught in coronavirus. If you have a job, it's no more secure than if you have a stay-at-home, a kind of running from home business. It used to be you get an employment for stability and then you do entrepreneurship for your own hustle or you do a side hustle. Right now, the concept of stability doesn't exist anymore. If you have a job, it's under as much jeopardy as anything else, right? You lose it today. What do you do now? Now, if you have skills, it's actually beneficial. So it's a weird world we're living in. It's like the wild, wild west. We're all making it up as we go along. So if you have a dream, thanks for the follow, Sokolov. If you have a dream, make sure that you do whatever it takes to get to that dream. And to do that, you're going to have to get your ass kicked. When I put content online and it doesn't get a big response, if that demotivates me, I wasn't meant to be in this industry. If you want to be an engineer and you take your first exams and you fail all of them, and that completely makes you not want to be an engineer, you weren't meant to be an engineer in the beginning, in the first place anyways. It's the moments of failure that test whether or not you were meant to be in this industry or not that you've chosen. If you want to be famous, so you go onto Instagram and you do stuff to get famous, you're only going to be famous for a minute, if at all. But if you want to be the best at your craft, let's say you wanted, like that young woman who does dominoes on YouTube, right? She sets up these intricate domino puzzles. That was her, she wants to do that. She does that because she loves it. She got famous because people love it too. But if her objective was fame, she'd be probably twerking online, showing off some body parts. I'm not saying men do the same shit too. If you've seen my stand-up, you know my bit about men and women whoring themselves off for likes online. And that's also something. Maybe you want to be famous and you're like, look, if I'm going to be famous, I got no talent, I got nothing going on, but I'm hot as shit and I'm good at working out. So I can sell some merch, I can do some stuff, and I can make some money for at least 10 years and then invest in some businesses, right? Nimr's biggest fan, how's it going? Think about it that way. Good for them, man. As long as you monetize what you're doing and your goal is super specific, you can do it. Go after it. But that's the trick. Whatever you want to do in your life, what does it take to make it? Know what you want. What do you want to make it? What is important to you? What is your objective, right? I want to be, sometimes in working out, it's hyper specific and it's beautiful like that. I want to be 130 pounds with this many pounds of muscle. I want to be able to do 20 pull-ups. When you do that, you say, I want to be able to do 20 pull-ups, right? 20 reverse grip pull-ups. So you go online and you find out the exercises that help you develop specific muscles to engage your entire body in the reverse grip pull-up. And then you set up a schedule. Week 1, I'm going to do this. Week 2, I'm going to do that. And then you see that your diet needs monitoring. So you download an app, you count your calories, you start cooking specific foods, you monitor your protein intake, you go up on the scale daily, and you get to a point where you're 18 pull-ups, 20, then you fall back to 15, then your muscles atrophy a bit because you get lazy, then you get back on the thing, and then finally, 20 reverse grip pull-ups. And then immediately you're just so hyped up on that success. You're like, now I want to do 20 normal grip pull-ups. Thanks for the follow, Nicole Hoyek, right? So then you're like, now that I've done this, I'm going to add these exercises. You need to approach your life with the exact same thing. That goal is the thing, and everything is held by it. You feel me? You get what I'm saying right here? You need to set your goal. I want to be, tell me in the comments section, what the hell do you guys want to be? Somebody send me something right now and tell me what you want to be. Give me a hyper-specific goal. This is the first time I ever look into the comment section, and I'm trying to actually get live feedback from you guys. Let's take a look here. What's your headset? This is a Bayer Dynamic DT770 Pro. They're standard, actually. The smart goals. I'm waiting to see. I want to be a sex toy, says the Lebanese Revolution. That's that's appropriate since we are getting screwed daily by coronavirus. Okay. Let's see right here what we got. A mermaid from my own girlfriend, Vanessa Khatar. That's not going to work for me, babe. I'm sorry. I'm not into fish. Although I do fish, so that's an interesting one on your part because you know I'm a fisherman. Let's take a look right here. I want to get high in Amsterdam. I'm not surprised, Keanu Reeves. I want to be olive oil. You know, I should have known better than to ask you guys how to do this. A well-known photographer. There we go. And I always wanted to be a singer. Those are two great things. Computer engineer. Look at that. Now we got some people talking right here. Okay. I am lost after a year of battle against cancer. Well, Sam, you battled it for a year and you won. So time to put yourself back on track. Take the lessons you learned and the strength you gained from battling cancer and inject it into your goal. For people who are saying like, I want to be an engineer or I want to be a photographer. Let's take that one. That's a very difficult thing to go after. My sister is a very successful fashion photographer. If you want to follow her, by the way, her Instagram is Suddenly Maria. You can go to her website as well, suddenlymaria.com. Plugging my sister. I'm going to bring her on the show soon. If you want to be a successful photographer, I mean, go for it. What kind of photographer? Do you want to be a landscape photographer? Do you want to be a outdoor photographer? Do you want to be a studio photographer? Do you want to take pictures of everyday people and everyday things? Or do you want to be a fashion photographer who's working with models and agencies? That's the first question you got to answer. Once you set that, then you say to yourself, I want to be a fashion photographer, or I want to be a landscape photographer. So you go and you start watching videos online. You start taking advice and writing down notes. You want to be a landscape photographer during the day, or you want to take night shots? Do you want to do time-lapse kind of collages, or do you want to do astronomy photography? Then you choose which one you want to be. You find out exactly what kind of skills you need to master. What's the cheapest camera you can get by with? And you start doing that. You start putting your content online. You start monitoring your progress, following how people are responding to your stuff. You start building a brand for yourself. You find what separates you from everybody else, what makes you special, and you hone in on that. And you do it day and day and day and day, and it'll take at least 2 years to build a brand unless you're lucky. And then when you get there, you'll have everything. You'll have the skills, you'll have what you need, and you've gone step by step. But your goal is, I want to be a landscape photographer who does time-lapse collages, right? It's specific. Jakin173, thanks for the follow. So for me, I want to make a podcast that builds a community and makes everybody super happy. That is my objective here, right? My objective is not to have the biggest podcasts on the internet. If I wanted to have the biggest podcast on the internet, I just show my sexy legs. Boom! 68 million followers. You might say to yourself, Nemr, I'm not so sure about that. You ain't seen these legs. These legs are only for my girl, Vanessa. What's up, baby? That's only your legs. Nobody else gets to see these legs. Although if you look in my internet history, I did dress as a woman once and you can see my legs and they're glorious. So I set you upon that path if you want to see the power of my legs. But what I want is I want to make a podcast where people like you during these corona times can all come together and we can have one hell of a good time. Build a community. So I said to myself, how can I build a community? I'm on all these different platforms. The most important thing, and I learned this from our Discord server and being on Twitch, is the chat section. So I said, okay, I'll put the chat section on the screen. But how the hell am I going to put the chat section if I'm only on one platform? Let me get on every platform. So I found a way to do it on 4 different platforms. And then I was like, we're actually on 6 platforms. And then I said to myself, but I want all the comments from all the platforms to come in on one place. So I figured out how to do that right now. And you're seeing it right here, over there, all of you guys. And look at that. People are starting to notice each other. They're starting to know one another. We're building a community. And then I said, but I want to make sure that people know when we have new episodes. The notification systems suck on everything. So I said, oh, Let me get a phone number for the show and tell people to add me there. And then I said, but I don't want it to be like every other podcast. I just get a guest and it's just me. I want to split it up. I want to be able to talk about my things. So I'll do that part 1, set up the episode, get everybody situated online. Then we bring in a special guest so we can all benefit from their experience. And then I want to talk to you guys. So why don't I use this phone so that I can take your calls? So I integrated it into the system as well. And now we got the Very Funny Podcast. It's a good time. So I had one objective. My objective was to make the most entertaining podcast that can build a community around it. And that's my goal. And I'm going to stay focused on that goal. That's why every single day I sit down for 2 or 3 hours responding to all your WhatsApp messages with the biggest smile on my face. That's why every single time I'm sitting every day and perfecting how I'm setting up my broadcast groups, how I'm numbering the different contacts, where I'm backing up all the information. That's why every single day I work on the graphics a bit more and the editing of the videos to make it more accessible to you and for you to be able to share it with people to grow the community. Because I want to have the most entertaining podcast that has a community built around it. Set your goal and go after it no matter what, right? You don't have to quit your job, but you have to be disciplined. You got to set time aside. You have to go after it. You have to get it. And I think that's the best way to introduce our guest for today. Trevor Wallace is a person who came to Los Angeles with a dream, with an ambition, with a goal, and we're going to hear from him what that goal was and how he went after it, and we're going to laugh our asses off. Once again, these are 2 comedians right now that are going to be doing this podcast. If you're still on Instagram, leave Instagram, guys. Leave Instagram, head to Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Nemr Comedy is the channel. Join us in the comment section so you can see our guest. We're going to call Trevor Wallace now. We're going to listen to the guy, and we're going to gain a lot of great, great insight. So let me pull up my Skype right here and give my man Trevor a call.
Mr. Nemr, how's it going?
Mr. Wallace, how do you do, sir?
Doing all right, trying to get some fresh air out here in these smogless LA streets.
Isn't it beautiful how it's the cleanest we've ever had in Los Angeles? I think it's in 100 years or something. I heard them saying the other day.
Yeah, I mean the sky is beautiful. There was some like funny stuff online about people saying you can see like the universal sign over the globe and stuff like that.
I saw that meme. That shit was hilarious.
It was hilarious, yeah.
All right, first,
how are you holding up?
I'm doing great, man. I'm stuck in my house, just like you are, I think, right? We're quarantined.
Yeah. Yes. You said that with a little bit of a question mark. You're like, we're quarantined.
Right. I'm just making sure because I don't want you to be like, no, I'm out every day. I'm having the time of my life.
No,
you know
no, I am not having the time of my life. It is.
What are you What are you doing now? You're obviously everybody who knows you and pretty much everybody knows you. Knows how much content you put out and how excellent it is. Would you describe this as a good time for you because you're like able to sit and focus on your content? Or are you like, no, man, I had it already on lockdown. I didn't need this time. How is it for you?
Yeah, a little bit of both because now that there's so much free time, it's what I've been talking about to my friends is like I feel the need to make more content related to currently what's going on, which sometimes isn't as fun because then it feels more like work. Instead of like, oh, I had this funny idea that I want to do. But now it's kind of like, okay, well, what's the lens people are looking at 2020 at? You know, because it almost feels weird to put out a sketch or a video that's just unrelated, you know? And I have done it and it still does okay. But deep down, you're like, do people really want to know like a sketch about like how dogs are at the park? Like that doesn't matter right now. So I'm trying to find a happy median of not leaning too much into it because everybody's heard it, and then also trying to do kind of what I would if this wasn't going on.
Okay, but at the same time, you do have to admit that people do want entertainment as well. So you can feel okay with. But I get what you're saying. Like, are they really going to want to? I mean, their mind is elsewhere. It's hard to placate a non-vacant mind, I think.
Correct. Yeah, it's just hard. And I mean, now is a little bit more calmed down now that everybody's kind of aware of what's going on. But I think in the beginning, it was like so much panic about when everybody was flooding to the grocery stores. And, you know, that now it's a little more mellow. So I think now it's like you can start putting out more regular content and people will be like, oh, yeah, we're kind of back to normal if this is the new normal.
Okay. But so I have 2 questions for you right now based on what you just said. The first question, which I should have asked you at the very top of the show, are those the AirPod Pros that you have in your ears?
They are the Pros.
Okay.
Yes.
So your wealth has not diminished since this outbreak began. You haven't?
Yeah, funny thing about these, I actually did a video about these, and the guy who filmed them, there was like this tech guy, I forget his YouTube channel, but he does amazing reviews. But he, after we filmed, he's like, those are just for you. You can have them. I was like, this is the best form of pay ever, you know? Because comedians, we're used to getting paid in like Red Bull vodkas and like tater tots. So
people don't know that.
AirPod Pros.
Yeah, you got AirPod Pro. People don't know that. So a lot of people think. So when I go, this was very funny. You know my story. We've met before, and we know each other well. I came obviously from the Middle East. For anybody who's watching and doesn't know that. So when I first came here, I remember I started doing spots at like the Laugh Factory, and a local like a Lebanese massive publication was like Nemr headlining at the Laugh Factory. I wasn't headlining. I was just there. I was like part of a show, like All Star Friday or whatever.
Yeah.
And people started messaging me like, "Yo, you in the Laugh Factory? Holy shit! Like you must be making so much money." And I would just chuckle because you're not making shit.
$35 a spot, baby.
$35 if you get paid. It's 30. The Laugh Factory does it. The Laugh Factory pays more. Sometimes the improv will pay less. Sometimes you don't get paid anything. The struggle is real. Did you always want to be a stand-up comic, or is this something that you attached onto your comedy career? Because the money isn't there. So if you're doing it, you must be doing it for the passion.
Yeah, the people that are like, I want to do stand-up for the money and fame, I'm like, there's easier ways to do that, you know? But it's, but the quick fame is not what I'm invested in. I'm in the longevity. I started with stand-up first. Stand-up I started at 17. Oh, wow. And so I took like a workshop class at like my local comedy club.
Where did you start? Where is the local comedy club?
That's Ventura Harbor Comedy Club. Okay. Have you ever worked that one?
No, I have not.
It's minutes away from Oxnard Levity Live.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If you've done that one.
I have done Oxnard Levity Live.
So it's right. So that whole area is Ventura County. That's where I grew up. So not far from Los Angeles. But there's a comedy club out there. And it was like you do 6 weeks of classes. And then they help you write a type 5. And then you just do a showcase. And when I did the showcase, that was like really the first time I felt like any validation, you know, because I came from a world of, I was a young kid who hung out with older kids who had like gingery hair. I was just pale. I was terrible at sports. So I kind of like had to always be on my toes and use personality and like kind of like roast back because I was not athletic. And that's how I just coped with it was with comedy. So when I took the class, that was like the first time I felt like, maybe like a touchdown feeling. I don't know. I've never scored a touchdown in my life. So if you have, write in. Let me know how it feels. But the first punchline that landed, I like felt like this whole like rush over my body. And I was like, whoa.
Do you remember what the first punchline that landed was? I think we all do. What was yours, if you don't mind sharing it?
The way I set it up, I did like 3 topical jokes up front, and then I had this story about going to court when I was like 17.
Okay.
No, when I was younger than that. I was like 16. It was recently. But the first one, I did a topical one. It was something like, I forget what it was. It was something about Paris Hilton had just got arrested for cocaine. It was something along the lines of that. Pun intended lines. What was it? There was like three. I have the tape somewhere on my like hard drive, but it was one of them was like topical, and it was something about there was like so my background, I'm Jewish, so there was something about where people were hunting after like Christians or like that, and then it was some headline, and then for me I was like, oh, this is the first time I've been proud to be Jewish. It was something random.
Jesus, but like Jesus Christ, okay.
Right, and this was my parents were in the audience, and they're like, But I set it up way better than how I just said it. The way I just said it didn't seem very comfortable at all. But
you're trying to, because you're caught between remembering it and actually saying it. So don't worry, I totally get you.
Yeah. But it was like the first punchline that hit. I think I started with the Paris Hilton one. There was one. It was so stupid. It was such a traditional like slapstick comedy. It was like the other day in the news it said Nick Lachey lost 20 pounds, and I was like, well, that's great. Other than the fact that I have no idea who the fuck Nick Lachey is. Yeah, and like it's just such like da 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 da. Like it's very rhythmic of just a structured like joke. So I did like 3 of those, and then I just went into the story about how I got a speeding ticket, and then I was forced to ride a skateboard because my parents took my car away, and then I got a ticket on my skateboard for not wearing a helmet. just a bunch of white people shit, just getting tickets for not wearing a
For
helmet.
not wearing a helmet. The good white people problems, yeah.
Yeah, but I just remember being like 5 minutes, like that's a lot of time. And then the first joke I told, I got that like endorphin rush, and then I like blacked out, and the set was just like over.
Yeah.
It was wild.
I know exactly how you feel. So you caught the comedy bug. You went hard for it. You went after it. When did you start building your online massive personality? I mean, because you started from scratch. And what was the decision?
Yeah.
What made you say, I need to start putting video content out? And how did that journey begin? How did you get here?
So the time I was doing videos, I was in college. And so when I started stand-up, I was 17, went to college at 18. And then Vine, if you remember, Vine came out when I was either 19 or 20.
Okay.
And then one of my friends in the fraternity was like, dude, you got to try this app. And I was like, that sounds stupid. Like, what is it? And then I saw how people were making like their own
7-second
comedy.
videos.
Yeah, their own. Like people were making funny stuff on there. And I was like, all right, let me give this a shot. So I kind of dabbled around. And then I was making stuff on there. And then I had a disposable of like 50 frat guys who lived at this house at once. So I could just be like, who wants to be in this? Where, like, do you guys want to be in this? So
You
it's
had,
just
you
like,
had a whole cast.
yeah, a whole cast where every guy looked the exact same. So, it was great if I needed a scene for the same looking guy who looked like a Brock or like a Derek or something. But I just remember making a video, and one of them went big, I think when I was like 20. And I was like, yo, this is stardom. This is fame. No way. And and obviously it wasn't, because it was like I only had a small amount of followers, but it showed me how the internet can work.
Yeah, the potential.
Exactly. If you do the right stuff and you hit the right spots at the right time, and not everything's going to go viral, but if you do everything you can, it might. And then I kept making videos from there while doing open mics after class. So my whole all of junior year was very like video based, and then doing stand up at night after class. And then senior year, Vine trickled out a little bit, and then I was purely doing just stand up. So that was 2015. I was really just hitting the stand up.
What were you studying in college?
Film with a minor in theater.
Oh God,
so,
that came in use.
Yeah,
that came useful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it did. So lucky enough, but I went into school undecided. I was like, I don't know. I just want to drink alcohol and watch football, I guess. So, and then I moved to LA in 2015 and just was working 2 internships, and then all I was doing was open mics, not as much video stuff. And I got back in the video stuff around like 2016, 2017. And I was like, Facebook's going to be the big one. I think Facebook has a lot of video potential because of the share option.
It does.
It's hard for a video to go viral on Instagram because there's no snowball effect. Versus Twitter and Facebook, that's where videos do the biggest because the share option.
Yeah.
So I just doubled down in that. And then 2017, after trial and error and putting out so much different types of content, I had so many videos just bomb, but just kept going just because, you can't really put all your eggs in one basket.
I love that. I love that you said that, though. You had so many videos bomb, but you just kept going. Like, it didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you knew you could get there. You're just like, until I get there, I'm going to have to, the pain, endure the pain.
Exactly. I think it was that little bit of like that Vine hope deep down in me that I was like, I've done this before. How do I replicate it again? How do I make this happen? So just by trial and error. And I remember the first video I uploaded, I almost uploaded it as just like a random, like just a slot filler. I was like, I didn't make a video this week. Here's some old one I had just laying around. And then that one was based on the skateboarding store called Zoomies, which is like crazy popular out here, especially in Southern California. And that's kind of like the people I grew up with online, or in, my childhood. And then that like randomly hit overnight, had like 1 million views. And I was like, oh shit, I think we're onto something here.
Brilliant.
And then that's when, and if it was one thing I learned from Vine, it was not adding more fuel to the fire when the fire was going. Because like when I had that video hit, I didn't post anything for like 2 weeks because I was just riding that like, hell yeah, riding that high. But if anything, it's like, then you throw more out there because then people go to your page and it slowly, that's why like a page will stay hot if you keep posting content with something that's big. So
you gotta keep adding fuel basically to the fire.
The fire can only burn for so long. If you think of videos in form of like a wooden log content, you're just like adding more, and that's kind of when you're on a roll. That's kind of the mentality you should kind of be on, but you got to tread carefully because if you throw too much out there, then they're like,
And
it's like add
you
quality.
oversaturate yourself. You got to find that balance between them missing you and them wanting more. You're on a roll. You're on a huge roll right now, and you've been on a roll for quite some time. And it's been like a huge snowball just keeps getting bigger. I remember before, I don't know if you would classify it this way. For those who don't know, I met Trevor through a mutual barber who's also called Trevor. Cuts my hair. Used to cut your hair before you moved out from here. And he was like, man, you got to check this guy out. He's really hilarious. And I had seen you around on Instagram. And of course, comedians know comedians. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I've been seeing him. I remember at the time, you were nowhere near as big as you are now, but you had a lot of, you did have that fire going. And you were posting out great content. And then you blew the fuck up. Then I don't know if it happened as a result of that or if you were friends before you started doing the collaborations with Charities, right?
Yeah, that's what really it was
combination really took off.
Yeah, we just like matched really well because we improvised like 90% of the videos. We'll go in there with an idea and a few points, but it's kind of just off the dome riff in it. Mm-hmm. So which is hard because it takes a while to find somebody you can just riff with.
The energy has to sync up.
Exactly. Yeah. And for whatever reason, the first time we filmed a video was like that. Like our biggest video together was the first time we'd ever filmed anything together, which is kind of random. So
that's crazy.
We had that going. We kept making content together, and we still do, as much as we can. And then I just had a few things of my own do well. So it was like I had people coming from his channel versus my channel, like it just kind of like
and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. So last year was really good on all of that.
So now what happens now? I mean, so you got all that fame. Now you're on stage. You're finally able to do your stand-up. Did that make you more relaxed knowing that you don't have to worry that much about marketing? Like your shows are selling out in advance. You're crushing it everywhere you're going. Are you now able to relax more on stage? And personally, when I sell a show out in advance, I enjoy the show more because I have more free time to just be thinking about what I'm going to say as opposed to like, shit, we got to shift another 100 tickets or something. How was that for you?
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely the case, which I didn't even think about, but it's such a blessing to not have to think about that. For certain markets, some markets I don't have a draw. I remember when I went to Miami, I was like, oh yeah, I have plenty of people in Florida, not realizing how big Florida is, Like I might have thousands and thousands of people in Tampa, but Miami
is a different story.
They had to pay for that room. So, but it is nice knowing that, Weekend's doing well because then, the club's going to be happy. The waiters are making money. They're getting tipped out well. And that's just not only is the comedy going to be a lot of fun, but that's also where you just get real comfortable and you can throw out some new stuff because you just feel the energy. And
the people are there to see you. So it's not like when you paper a room, which full disclosure, same thing happened to me in Miami. When you paper a room, you're going to want to make sure that these people don't really know who you are. They're probably coming because they got invited for free or there's a discount on the food. And they're like, oh, he seems funny. I've seen a clip, but they're not into you. But once you have a sold out show, they're into you. You can be more you. It's crazy.
Exactly. And that's all they want is for you to be you. And that's ideally the goal is you're playing to people who just love you, but you got to find the fine line of doing that. But I think that's also smart, and that's why you do spots like the Laugh Factory and the Improv because you still stay sharp in terms of not only your own world, but the layer outside of it.
You want to make sure you're funny to people who don't even know who the hell you are or what you're about, and then the people who love you are going to die, and that's basically what you want to do. So now you're quarantined, you're stuck at home. We all are. What do you think the future of stand-up is going to be? What's your prediction? I'm asking every comic I bring on the show.
My prediction is eventually it'll get back, but it's going to be a really slow kind of build. I think comedy clubs are going to come back and they're going to have tables more spread apart. They're not going to stack people in so much, which is how comedy clubs work best, is when
it's
audience members are jammed.
Yep.
I love that. When it's like 150 people in a tight room, that's like the best, So I think it'll be spaced out. It's going to be kind of annoying because people are going to want to get out of the house in general, but I just don't. Every comic in the world is going to have a hot quarantine take, and it's.
I wanted to ask you, do you think we should? I don't know if I should. Like I was thinking about this. Am I going to have to do material about the quarantine, or would people be like anything but? What do you think?
I think you address it real quick and then you get right into your old, your material, whether it's old or new. Yeah. But the hard part is I mean, this is super inside baseball, you know, as a comic, but it's like if the host goes up and does something about the virus, and then your featurette goes up and does something about the virus.
Now
Yeah.
you're redundant.
Your take has to be so different that's like the only time I'd ever ask a feature or host, be like, hey, what Corona material are you doing? Are you doing any? Because I had a bit about this that I wanted to do. It's just like, you might be able to address it real quick and then just get back into it. But I think, you know, like doing like 20 minutes on it, people are going to be like, yeah, we just lived that too.
We've lived it and we've heard everything there is about it.
I mean, yeah, when I went to an open mic the night Trump was elected, and it was every single person was doing an act of the person before. It was, ooh. So
now,
you know.
And where can people tune in? So for everybody listening, of course, there's the Stiff Socks podcast, right? Did I say that correctly?
Stiff Socks podcast.
Stiff Socks podcast. How are you doing that? Are you getting guests over? Are you doing it via video drop-in? What are you going to do?
No, so we're not doing guests right now.
Guests.
It's me and I have a co-host, and then we have a producer. And the way it's set up, it's we can like kind of, there's no close interactions, so we're still filming it, but everybody is, you know, at a far distance, which is kind of nice because the chairs of me and our hosts are spread out, and then our producer sits on the side of the room, and yeah, we're just doing that, and I mean that's kind of a great way, and we've got a lot of nice messages from people being like, thanks for, you know, providing us with more than a 3-minute clip of content. It's also nice because now people are tuning in that weren't before.
Yeah.
But some people are like, you know, we just like the sketches, but an hour of our time, that's a lot. But now people are like, shit, I got time to kill. So
I got time to kill.
You know, and it's a quality podcast in terms of how we produce, and we take a lot of care for it. So I think I really do want people to check it out. As, you know, people should watch this. You know, this is shot really well, and you get great guests. So I think that's more story.
Thank you very much. You're one of those guests, my friend. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're one of the people. I just want to summarize this conversation by saying when we first met, we grabbed lunch together. I loved hanging out with you because I rarely am able to sit with people and learn a lot from them. And the way you were telling me about how you were cutting up your clips, and I just want you to end just by telling people very briefly, what is it that makes you special? There's so many people out there that are able to, that put content together. The barrier to entry is you can just need a phone. Everybody's got one. But they're either not going viral as consistently and as long as you are, or they're not being able to have a successful on-stage and off-stage career as a result. What is your methodology? You told me over that lunch, you were like, if you're going to put videos out there, there was a certain formula you followed. What would that be?
Yeah.
What's the Trevor Wallace secret?
I think the biggest thing is just paying attention to your surroundings.
Yeah.
And speaking of surroundings, there's a guy with a leaf blower outside.
I thought that was I thought that was at my end, so I started muting my microphone. And I'm like, no, it's still there.
I'll step in. Every day of the week, there's some neighbor that has
lawn
a leaf blower, which is hilarious because nobody's even going outside to look at their lawn anyways.
Right? But, yeah, I know.
I will summarize it best saying it's the biggest thing is a lot of times it's right in front of people, the answer they're kind of looking for. I think I do a lot of relevant videos that are based on trends going on that I notice, not necessarily what the world is noticing. That's why the Corona stuff feels a little forced because everybody is thinking about it. But if I make a video about some of the stuff that I've made that has done well, was about like an energy drink that a lot of people are drinking, but nobody's really brought it to surface, but everybody has that. It's finding what's popular but not mainstream and kind of like investing in it.
So basically the same formula as stand-up. Find something that people interact with but haven't noticed something about and push that. All
exactly, yeah. And then lastly, it's just like if you notice how the attention span, I mean, if Vine can't last, that's like the biggest sign of a 6-second app. You know, people's attention spans are either, you know, I'm sitting down to watch a Netflix show, or when they're on their phone, they scroll at like the rate. Just watch how fast people scroll. So my biggest goal in the beginning, and still to this day, is make quick cuts and edits and be like almost chaotic to the point where somebody goes, what is going on in this video? Let me stop and watch it. And then they kind of figure that out. But, you know, I went to film school. As much as I would love to have a cinematic shot of like, you know, a hyperlapse of the sun rising or something, or the Maserati wheel rolling in, it's like people don't have time for that. You got to start a video on your face. You got to start with words like they want now. So it's kind of just this super quick chopped up stuff, but still doing it in quality content that you're still happy with.
Done. I think that's excellent advice. I obviously agree with that. If you were working in long format, who's your favorite filmmaker? Just out of curiosity, since you went to film school.
Probably like Adam McKay. Well, he's just like all the stuff he's been behind. Adam McKay is Will Ferrell's partner, and he has literally just been behind some of the biggest movies. And I just think he just knows. He kind of just essentially knows comedy.
He does. I couldn't agree more. Trevor Wallace, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, of course, you probably already do. If you don't, go on YouTube and subscribe. On Instagram, follow him at Trev Wall and the Stiff Sock Pod. When is that you put that each episode?
Every Wednesday. There's an episode out on my YouTube, which is just Trevor Wallace. But yeah,
so go there, Wednesday. Dude. Thank you so much for joining us, man. It was a lot of fun to see you again.
Of course, man. Stay safe, and we'll talk soon.
Take care, brother. Bye-bye.
Right on.
All right, that was Trevor Wallace, ladies and gentlemen, joining us from his household in these bizarre times that we have going on. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Ghassan Abdesattar, my friend, making fun of me for saying I should tell him how I always fly in business class. I can't flex on people like I flex on you. Man, I love I don't know about you guys, but you got to really love having good friends in the world that you can bust each other's balls. That was a dope guy. I think the most important thing and the best advice that he could give, and I think we should, if you want to create content online, I mean, this is a guy who's a filmmaker. So this is somebody, he studied film, and he's like, I love that sentence. I wish I could, film a sunset or film the Maserati wheel riding in. But that's not what people want. So, that's important stuff. So glad you guys enjoyed that. I'm taking a look right now at the comments. Before we open up the phone calls and we start taking your calls, hit me up in the comments. Let me know. Hamoud, get ready. We're going to start taking calls. I know Hamoud Joker is on point, but today I want to direct your questions towards a very specific question, your calls. And somebody actually hit me up on WhatsApp, and he gave me this suggestion, and I think this is a great suggestion. He said, go to Reddit, go to Ask Reddit, pick a question from there, and have people call in and give their answers. That way there's something that we can all talk about. So I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I want you guys to call in. The number is right there. You see it right there. So make sure before you call, I need you to text me your name and which city you're in. All right? So make sure you guys do that. My name is XYZ. I live in this city. And by the way, when I say city, like if you live in some obscure place in Detroit, say Detroit, don't, because then I have to go on Google Maps and find out where it is so I can log it in. So which major city is basically that kind of thing. All right. This is the question that I'm going to ask you guys today. Give me a call, and you got to have an answer for this. Don't call me without an answer. It's got to be a good answer. All right. The pressure's on you now, baby. Here we go. If Elon Musk approached you one day asking you to accompany him to Mars, would you accept or reject the offer? Why or why not? That's the question of the day. Everybody on Instagram, we're ending the live right here. Head over to those other platforms so that we can take your calls. And let's open up the phone lines. The phone lines are ready to go. Give me a call. The question is very simple. If Elon Musk told you, I need you to come with me to Mars, would you say yes? Would you say no? What would you say and why? Give me a call and let me know. Let me make sure that I turn on the microphone right here for the thing. And the calls are coming in. We got from Detroit, Michigan, Ryan calling us. Ryan, how's it going? Wait, I think I clicked the wrong thing. Ryan, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, my man. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing all right, dude. I'm doing all right. You're calling us from Detroit. Am I correct?
Yep.
All right, my man. Well, here's my question for you, brother. If Elon Musk told you, Ryan, I need you to come with me to Mars, would you say yes or no? And basically, by the way, people should know when you go to Mars, you don't come back. Like it's not like I'm going to go to Mars for a couple weeks and come back. Not yet. So if somebody told you you're going to have to go to Mars, you're abandoning your entire family, your friends, would you do it? Yes or no?
Well, a year ago, I took an astronomy class in college.
Okay.
And I had to, obviously, I had to learn about our planet and our solar system and everything like that.
Okay.
And to sum it up, yeah, I would. Just because that class was so fascinating, it forced me to go outside and do journals of the sky.
Okay.
So, like, all the stars, when I look up there, I see constellations, and it's different on every planet.
Yep.
Because you just see different angles. So, yeah, I would definitely would want to go with him just for that. Because, I mean, Michigan, like, in the wintertime, it gets, like, 6 degrees outside. And I'll go outside in the freaking winter and just look at the stars for an hour. And my dad thinks I'm insane. But, yeah.
Word, man. We asked the right question to the right person. Somebody just asked, Samarisha said, who the fuck is Elon Musk? Elon Musk is a Fortnite Twitch streamer. Okay, so Ryan, thanks so much for your call, man. You have a great day and you stay safe. All right?
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too.
Oh, my goodness. Give me a call. Let me know if Elon Musk told you, I need you to head with me to Mars. You ain't coming back. You're going to go up there. You're going to be one of the first human beings to colonize the planet. Would you go? Yes or no? Why or why not? Let's hear it. I'm trying to see. It's so funny. We get so many calls that it locks up on WhatsApp. So let me just quit WhatsApp. There we go. Tap to return to call. I don't know who this is. This is a new caller, new listener on the show. Who am I talking to?
It's so funny. We get so many calls that
they don't know they're on the phone yet. You need to listen to the phone, my friend.
Quit WhatsApp.
Yeah, I'm listening, man.
All right, could you lower the stream?
I don't know who this is.
Because we got the echo.
Yeah, wait. I'm gonna load the stream. Wait.
Thank you, man.
So now I did.
All right, perfect. Who am I talking to, and where are you calling us from?
I am Mohammed Al Sayad. I'm Lebanese German. I live in Germany.
All right, where in Germany?
Leipzig.
Oh,
Leipzig.
Leipzig. Okay. Well, the question, you said your name was Muhammad?
Yeah, Muhammad.
Muhammad, what would you say if Elon Musk told you we're going to Mars, you want to come? Would you do it, yes or no? And why?
How? Can you ask me again, please?
If Elon Musk told you, let's go to Mars, the planet Mars.
Who is Elon Musk?
Elon Musk is a popular... Are you serious? You don't know who Elon Musk is?
Elon Musk. Okay.
Who doesn't know how... You know what? Let me say something. What a world that we live in, that you design spaceships that can go to outer space and come back. You create some of the most incredible technology for humanity. You're charting the path to Mars, and people are like, who's Elon Musk? What do you have to do to get some recognition in this world? All right, Muhammad, would you go to Mars with Elon Musk, yes or no?
No.
No, why not? Why not?
Well, I don't know. If I want, I will go, but I don't think I won't.
That's your insight and your philosophy behind your reasoning are second to none. Let me tell you, Muhammad, this was an incredible call. Thank you for sharing your perspective.
Hey, bro, I love you so much. I just wanted to call and talk to you. I don't want to ask anything about Walmart, any YouTuber, man.
He's not a YouTuber. Elon Musk is not a YouTuber.
I don't know who he is. I don't need to know who he is.
You need to know. You need to know who he is. You got to go and Google him. This is too funny. Dude, thanks so much for calling. Thank you, man. You take care of yourself.
I will try. I will try.
Try your best to find out who Elon Musk is. Have a great day, brother. Bye.
Hey, bro, I can't.
Oh, shit, I closed. I didn't mean to do that. I don't need to know who some YouTuber. It was a joke. He's not actually a Fortnite streamer, people. He isn't a Fortnite streamer. It's Elon Musk. Carla Nukkad on the phone. Please tell me you know who Elon Musk is.
Actually, I have no idea who he is.
No, you're joking. You have to be joking.
No, seriously, I googled when you asked. Hello.
How do you not know who Elon Musk is?
Actually, it's the first time I'm hearing his name.
How is it the first? Okay. All right. we need to have a talk, everybody. We need to have a talk. Okay. We gotta discuss something right here. All right. Okay. How the hell do you know who I am and you don't know who Elon Musk is? That's unacceptable. Elon Musk started PayPal. He then sold PayPal and started Tesla. the electric car company. And then he decided that he wanted to launch aircraft into outer space, spaceships that could deliver stuff to the International Space Station at a fraction of the cost, and then bring those spaceships back to Earth so that you could reuse them. That's how he brought the cost down, whereas before NASA used to send them out and then they basically go into debris. This man has accomplished what only video games will hypothesize human beings can, but you don't know him.
That's the proof that you're a genius, actually.
I'm going to take it that way. That's what I'm going to take from this. Do you know who Justin Timberlake is?
A kid. It doesn't
You can't
say
say a key to Justin Timberlake and not Elon Musk. God, okay. You know what, Carla? Let's abbreviate the. This is too funny. The question for you. Justin Timberlake asks you, would you like to go to Mars? Would you go to Mars, yes or no?
Actually, I would not go for a reason, which is very simple. The weather there is freezing cold, and I hate cold weather.
That is the most woman reply, and I don't mean to sound sexist right now. I know some people might be like, Nemr, wow, that's sexist. Let me tell you something about women. Women have the weirdest excuses for not wanting to do something. Like, you'll ask a woman, do you want to go watch Mad Max? And they're like, is that the movie with the sand? And you're like, I mean, yeah, they're in a desert and stuff. I hate movies I hate sand in movies. I don't want, they'll say shit like that. And then you tell Carla, do you want to go to Mars? And she's like, no, because I don't like the cold. So if it was warm and pleasant, if it was a Mediterranean climate, would you go to Mars, Carla?
You're gonna laugh with my answer.
Yeah, no, I
am. Actually, I hate to fly in general, so I would not like to go anywhere.
If you could teleport, if they could press a button and it went, and now you're on Mars, and the climate was Mediterranean, would you go to Mars?
Well, that's still a no. I love planet Earth.
Okay, you know, that's a good answer. That's the first thing you've said that's made sense to all of us here, Carla. Let me tell you, that was wonderful.
Thank you,
Carla, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Goodilly, thanks for the follow, and Carla, thanks so much for the call.
Okay, bye-bye, Nemr. Stay safe.
You too. You too. This was not what I thought was going to happen when I asked this question. I didn't think we'd end up in a situation where I had to explain who he is. We have somebody calling us from Russia right now. Yusuf Al-Taif calling from Russia. Do the Russians know who Elon Musk is?
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't?
All right, there. Did you hear the confidence?
Apparently, Carla didn't know.
Hold on. I'm going to stop you for a second, Yusuf Al-Taif, right there. I need you to stop talking for 1 second. Yusuf Al-Taif did not only reply. He replied with maybe the most manly voice we've ever had on this show. Yusuf, you had such authority in your reply. Please explain, with that authoritative voice, you should do voiceovers, by the way. Would you go to Mars if Elon Musk told you we got to go to Mars and we're looking for people with baritone voices in case we run into aliens on Mars? We need people to seduce the aliens with their voice because we know they respond to frequency, not necessarily language. Would you volunteer to use your voice of sexual healing and power on Mars with Elon Musk? Yes or no?
Of course I would.
Beautiful.
And do you know why?
Why? I want to know why.
That's because helping colonize Mars would be an amazing achievement, especially with Elon Musk.
Incredible.
He's the inventor of Tesla. He's the CEO of Tesla, actually, and the SpaceX inventor too. He revolutionized the space travel, and I think I can be a part of that if the opportunity presents itself.
And with your voice, you could market them up there on Mars. Stacy.
Yeah, of course. I do great ads.
You do great ads. And Stacy, who's Russian, is asking, where in Russia do you live? Do you love, Jesus? Or love, I guess.
St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg, Stacy. That's your answer. Thank you so much for calling us, Yusuf. May you stay sexually prominent and powerful with your voice. May you aid human race in its colonization of Mars one day. And may you have all your enemies crumble at your feet like they deserve. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Nemr. You're amazing. Thank you.
You're amazing, man. Bye-bye, everyone. Not everyone. Bye-bye, Yusuf. Okay, everyone, give me a call. We're taking calls right now. Would you go to Mars, yes or no, with Elon Musk? We got from Jeddah, Muhammad Araisi. Muhammad, how's it going?
Hey, Nemr, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, dude. Tell us, would you go to Mars Yes or no? Why or why not?
Yeah, I don't think I'll go.
Okay.
Like Carla, I love our planet too much. But once it's open for tourism, I'll sure go. Yeah.
I love your. I don't really want to go, but I mean, when they open it for tourism, I'll visit. You know, I have some cousins on Mars because we're Arab. We're Arab, so we got family.
Come on,
everywhere.
you know, there's already Lebanese living on Mars.
There
or
are Lebanese.
something.
There are definitely Lebanese on Mars. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get to Mars. There's gonna be like,
Elon Musk will reach Mars and find like a falafel place or something.
Elon Musk will get there and he'll be like, there are people already here, and then they're like, yeah, I'm min beto, and you're like, oh, you're Lebanese. They're like, no, I'm Phoenician. I'm not Lebanese. Phoenician. And then you're gonna have a weird kind of thing. That was excellent.
Hey, Nemr, by the way, there's a reason I think why a lot of people don't know who Elon Musk is. Don't forget that electric cars are not a big thing in Arab countries.
He makes
so if your
space
callers
shuttles.
are,
He makes space shuttles that go to outer space.
do you think someone who lives in Beirut will care about space shuttle and follow the news on it?
Yes, of course they do. Everybody in Beirut knows. As far as I know, I'm from Beirut. I care. It's not about Beirut. It should be everywhere. God damn it! Hey, how do you know?
It should be.
How do you know that Elon?
No, I know because I follow technology news a lot, and I'm into that news sector, so I know about them. But I give excuses for the ignorant because they don't follow this type of news.
Give excuses for the ignorant. Dude, that was the best sentence ever. Dude, thanks so much for calling.
Thank you, Nemr. Have a good day.
Muhammad Araisi, how great was I give excuses for the ignorant? That guy right there. Nailed it. From Dubai, Peter Khoury, what's going on, man?
Nemr!
How you doing?
I'm good. Finally in Lebanon. How are you?
I'm amazing, dude. I'm absolutely amazing, man. You're in Lebanon? You made it back?
Yeah, finally, man. I made it back.
Congratulations. So, would you go, now that you've made it back to Lebanon, would you go to Mars?
Yeah.
Or not?
Of course.
Okay. Why?
I want to try Martian shawarma.
What if there's no life on Mars? So you'd basically just be taking frozen.
We'll find za'atar barri somewhere.
You'd be taking za'atar barri is not for shawarma. You'd be taking meat, freezing it from Earth, and then transporting it. You're just having old shawarma on another planet.
It's Elon Musk. He's gonna like transfer something in a spaceship. Yeah, I'm not loving shawarma. It's fine.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be Martian shawarma. It's going to be Earthian shawarma on Mars. And it's kind of like, let me put it for you this way. When you go and you have shawarma outside of Lebanon, every time I have shawarma, I'm like, it is shawarma, I guess, but I mean, this is nothing like Lebanon. Anytime you take the source of the food away from the source,
exactly,
it gets terrible. So you're going to go to Mars? The shawarma is going to be terrible on Mars.
I'm going to try it, man. I already tried bad stuff in Dubai. You don't know how bad the shawarma was there. Once I had a chicken shawarma with fucking carrots inside.
Chicken shawarma with carrots? That is,
I'm telling you,
bizarre.
I don't want to be racist, but these Indians don't know how to cook Arabic food.
Eldinar09 is now following. Thanks for the follow. These Indians happen to cook better than us, though. Just so you know, just maybe not.
I know, but not our food. Because every time they put carrot in everything that is Lebanese.
In the defense of people butchering our food, you should try some of the Lebanese food made by Lebanese people here in America. It's even worse. So I don't think it's the ethnicity that determines whether or not you can nail a food. I think it's your approach. And so you're saying you're going to go, are you going to taste the Martian shawarma, or are you going to go to make the Martian shawarma? Are you the
No, I'm going to taste.
Oh, so you're not going to basically just like enforce the right procedures. You're just going to
I'm going to eat and just enjoy the fact that actually I can be fat there because there's no gravity. I can just jump around, feel like an athlete.
You can be fat here too. Nobody's stopping you.
Yeah, I know, but here I can like jump to, I don't know how much, I can dunk a basketball, but like there I can dunk.
They're going to make the basketball hoops higher in Mars because there's no ground. Anyways, listen.
It's Elon Musk. He will do everything.
He will do everything. That's it. Okay. It's Elon Musk. You have faith. At least
the toy.
At least you know who the hell he is, man. Thanks so much for calling. You have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's take a couple more calls before we end the show. want to give a shout out to my man Akram, who came up with the idea of going to the Ask the Reddit thing so that we could get these questions, because this is the funniest shit ever. Hello?
Yo, brother.
Who's this?
I'm Panda, your mod.
Your what?
Your mod. Bipolar Panda.
Oh, Bipolar Panda. I heard I'm Panda, your mom. You were this close to getting blocked on your thing. I was like, what a bizarre insult. I'm Panda, your mom.
It's fine, dude. It's fine.
Bipolar Panda, one of the mods on the Twitch group, calling us from Lebanon. Am I correct?
Yes, Lebanon, exactly.
All right, my man. Would you go to Mars? Yes or no?
Okay. Of course I would, but the suggestion first, I think you need to start doing educational podcasts first, dude. Because, I mean, if you don't know Elon Musk, well,
if you don't know
the
Elon
education
Musk,
system is kind of
I have no help. I can't do anything there. My hands are tied. If you don't know who Elon Musk is, I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't.
Exactly.
So tell me, would you go to Mars?
Okay, so
yes or no?
I would definitely go to Mars. Because Elon Musk is like one of the most charismatic and funny people
Thanks for the follow,
I've seen. Like, he's amazing.
Okay.
And second of all, I mean, I weigh like 85 kilograms here. I'd weigh like 32 kilograms there on Mars, man.
So what I'm
I'd
discovering,
be like an Italian supermodel.
What I'm discovering from your call and the call before us is that we have incorrectly attributed sexism. This is sexism. We have incorrectly attributed weight loss and concern about weight to women, and it turns out that you guys are the most concerned about your weight that I mean, no, we got Carlo called in. She's like, I just don't know who the fuck he is. Nobody's mentioned weight except guys on the show. So what we've learned today is that if you know who Elon Musk is, you want to be an Instagram model, and if you don't know who Elon Musk is, you have your priorities straight. So that's very illuminating. Bipolar Panda, thank you for your call. Very fascinating insight.
It's nothing.
I'll see you around, brother. Love you, dude. Bye-bye.
See you, man. See you.
Oh, my goodness. Give me a call, everybody. We're going to take one more call, one last call right here. This one, I think, is coming in from London, +44. Hello, who am I talking to, and where are you calling us from?
Hiya. I am in... So I'm just outside of London, actually, near Wimbledon.
Oh, my God, that accent.
I'm Lebanese as well.
You're Lebanese as well. What's your name? Wait, you need to listen through the phone, by the way. So make sure you lower the volume on the computer and call and just listen to the phone. So because there's lag.
Oh yeah. I'm listening to the phone now.
Fantastic. So what's your name again?
Nicole El Houayik.
Nicole Houayik?
Yes.
Okay, Nicole, your accent is outstanding. In your beautiful, amazing accent, if Elon Musk came to you and said, Nicole Houayik, he can't pronounce Houayik because he's American, so he'd be like, Nicole Hayek, we need your voice to soothe the potentially violent aliens that we encounter on Mars. We might get there, they might be furious, and if we have your voice there, we can soothe them. First of all, would you accept the responsibility? It's a 2-point question. So the first part of the question is, would you go to Mars, yes or no, for the betterment of humanity to protect human beings with your voice? That's question 1.
Okay. Question 1, yes, of course, I would.
Okay, now question 2. The Earth is depending on you, Nicole, all right? This is Earth, okay? Everybody's depending on you. You get there, the aliens arrive, they're hostile. What words would you choose, and how would you say them so that you could placate the aliens?
That's a very difficult question.
It is. The world is watching. This is being broadcast live. Everybody in the world is watching. They're sitting on the edge of their seats. Nobody's breathing. They're waiting. You take a few steps out. You're now standing face to face with the alien leader. Behind the alien leader with ray guns is an insane amount of aliens. You've just never knew that there could be that many things in the universe, and the leader is looking at you.
There's a lot of pressure.
They're about to launch. They're about to launch an attack on planet Earth. If you don't get this right, what do you say?
Okay, on the assumption that the aliens have an American accent, I would say aluminium, purely because that's the one that confuses all the Americans.
No, they don't have they're not speaking English. They don't have an American accent. If they had an American accent in alien language, it would be like, but it would be in alien, so it'd be like bark, bark, bark. Fine, we gave them an American accent. No, you have to choose. Here's the thing: you have to choose the sentence that sounds soothing. The words don't have to be soothing. For instance, let's say you were to tell them a very soothing word that the meaning of it isn't soothing. Like, let's say you were to tell them defecation, not a soothing word, but if you said it, it has the bass, right? You could be defecation. If you add a bit of the bass at the end, defecation, it has a nice bassy ending to it, right? It shows authority. And then you add your British accent to it, defecation, and it becomes a whole kind of thing. And then you could be like, a defecation poop on you. And then it becomes a beautiful bouquet of love, you know? And then they look at you and they go, and then you would reply with, at the end of the day, it's about whether or not you want to be a part of our lives, right? So that's very soothing. There's a nice transient. There's a rhythm. So I'm going to be the alien. You're going to talk to me. How about we do it that way?
Okay, fabulous. Do it that way.
Fabulous. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm the alien. I've approached you. Here we go. Are you ready? Here we go.
Yeah, go. You really, really, really need to calm the hell down and listen to what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying, though, is it? Really, just listen. Just listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying, get the hell away. Thank you. Now you're listening. It's working well.
Okay, I'm going to have to admit something. You sound too much like a teacher, so I think they're going to attack us. I think you've doomed Earth because you sound like a teacher right now. You're like, you need to get away or you're going to sit in detention. In it. So, listen, you've failed humanity, but you've succeeded in entertaining us on the show. So I thank you. I thank you profusely. Fabulous. Fantastic.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Could you use your beautiful accent to endorse the show? I'd love to have a British person. I don't even know if I know how to do it. But could you say the Very Funny Podcast is my favorite show in the world? Could you say that with your accent in your best voice?
Yes, of course.
Go for it.
The Very Funny Podcast is my favorite show.
That's the most unconvincing I've ever heard anybody say anything in my life.
Isn't that the whole point of a British accent, though? The fact
you gotta put some oomph behind it. You gotta be like, the Very Funny Podcast is my favorite show. Can I have seconds? Okay. That kind of thing.
Okay, fabulous. Right.
So I want you to channel Harry Potter. You're a wizard, Harry. I want you to put that gusto into the sentence. All right? I'm gonna cue you. Okay. 3, 2, 1, and scene.
The Very Funny Podcast is my absolute favorite show in the world.
Yes! That's exactly what we were looking for. The absolute favorite show in the thing. Thank you so much for calling us. Make sure you send me your name and the city so I add you to the contacts. All right?
Yeah, fabulous.
Take care. Fabulous.
Great, thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao. Cheers. Cheerio. Bye. Cheers. That's all the time we have for the show today. Thank you so much for the follow. I think cheer something. Dude, Twitch was on fire today. Where are we on Twitch? That's the time. That's the radio. 922 followers on Twitch is blowing up, man. I love Twitch. Such a great platform. Guys, that's the end of the show. No, where'd the music go? Oh, I turned it off. How disappointing. Let me bring that baby back on. Let me do it. Here we go. It's one of these. Woo! Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time we have for the show today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Very Funny Podcast. I miss you too, Nads Lotniks. Thank you for joining us. Carla Nakad, thank you so much. Yemen Sharaf Dabbar, thank you guys. Hamoud Joker, good to see you. Stacy Sulsanova, Diane Musa, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the show. Peter Howarthleys, thank you very much, my old friend. Samarisha, I will be back. On Tuesday with another show, and the guests this coming week are going to blow you away. Spread the word, let everybody you know that the Very Funny Podcast is online and kicking ass every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. C6 thank you for taking us from 922 to 923 followers on Twitch. I appreciate you guys. I want you to know that I do this so that I can hang out with you guys just as much as you guys are enjoying hanging out with me. Ralph Aswad, you're a wizard. You're a wizard, Nemr. Thank you, my friend. by comment section. I love the community we got going on in the comment section right here. If you're on Twitch, there's a link underneath the video player that takes you to our Discord server. Be sure to go and head to Discord and join the server over there. There's even greater community over there. Add the number right here on WhatsApp, so I put you here, you get notifications. We're gonna get through this, people. We're gonna get through this coronavirus time. We got beautiful guests coming. We got lots of laughs coming. Your calls, our guests combined, it's gonna be incredible. So, I want you guys to get ready for another amazing week next week of the Very Funny Podcast. Spread the word. Let everybody know we're live and we're streaming Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. GMT, 11 a.m. PST, 9 p.m. Beirut time. You do the calculations. And most importantly, I do want to mention this as well. You can watch the episodes. As soon as I put end broadcast within minutes, the full episode is available on Twitch, on YouTube, and on Facebook if you want to watch it again. And I'm starting to put highlight clips. If you missed it, there's a highlight clip of my interview with Brian Callen right now on YouTube. Go and check it out. It's wonderful. And on my Facebook page. And on Twitch, you have the whole episode, so go and check them out. And that's all the time we got for us today, my friends. That's it. We're just vibing right now. I'm going to be working, by the way, on our guests, and at the same time, to bring the music into the podcast, I want to have my guitar hooked up, so when we end the show, I bust into a really nice kind of solo, and we have a good time together, just to tell you guys goodbye in a special way. Take care, everybody. Head honcho, Trevor's gone. It's done. We finished it. You can watch the episode if you want. Go back. Angel Light, thank you so much for following. Ramzi Abuzaki, thank you so much. Emma Khairallah, I love you too. I know my girlfriend was in the comments. I love you, baby. Rasha Hassan, take care. We got to get you on the call. Okay? Zaka, love you. Madi Karime, my man. DJ Thoda in the house, baby. From Tripoli, joining us right here. You guys have a great, great time. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care. Keanu Reeves, say hi to your dog. And I love you all, man. We'll see you this week. More of the Very Funny Podcast coming next. But for now, a quick commercial break with life. Bye-bye, everybody.